Okay, good afternoon, folks. Market is due to open in just under a minute. So there is a possible trade there, but I left it alone. It looks like a trap to me. A second entry long. I think that's a trap. And judging by this push down, I think it's likely going to stop that out. So, hey, Speedy, how you doing? I did watch that video last night, bud. So, yeah, he thinks there's a possible downturn, looking back on history or whatever he's looking back on. But, yeah, he was on holiday somewhere, wasn't he? On the top of a mountain somewhere. I can't remember what it was now. But, yeah, what do you think? Yeah, interesting. He's an interesting guy, isn't he? But I mean, I don't know. Are we going to get a massive downturn or something? We have certainly had a lot of buying, haven't we? Put it that way. Lately, we're definitely overbought, I think. So it would make sense. But he's very technical, isn't he? Excuse me just a sec. Yeah, he's very technical. Right, are we going to push and make a new high here? I'm not so sure, actually. Let's have a look at this. I think this is more like a failure. Trouble is, it's a bit early to come to that conclusion, but I'd say for me, depends how you look at this really, but I think we've either had a break or an overshoot. Oh, it does look like we're pushing up. But it's a little bit sideways there anyway. K3, how you doing, buddy? But yeah, depending how you look at this, I've got it slightly different here. There's a break here, maybe not so much here, but an overshoot. So we got a channel there possibly with a break. It's hard to say. So it's been a bit awkward, isn't it? A lot of chop there late evening or late afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. But we are sort of hitting this area again, aren't we? So it's hard to say, really. It is looking like it's trying to make a new high anyway. Depends how you look at that, really. But in my opinion, that trade triggered and got stopped out. There's nothing there, really. You could say it's a second entry long. It technically is, but it's just a bit stacked up for me. Sometimes, you know, longs get trapped. And then you realise you've had a breakout or an overshoot. I think we've either had one or two or both. So that's a push and an effort to a new high. So maybe thinking about shorts, possibly, depending on how far we pull back. But we'll have to have a look at this, see what happens here. Okay, so if there was any longs in there, they've just gone. It could be two legs down and a push up. Depends how far we come back, really. Let's just put this down here so I know. Excuse me. So it could be a leg and a leg. We've got a little channel here with a break and a new low. So, yeah, it's just not a trade that I wanted to get involved in there at all. That one I think was almost definitely going to get stopped out. That one, you wouldn't have got much out of it, I don't think. That ATR is quite low. So if you went a tick above it, say there, you'd have squeezed a point, I think, at best. Because it would have to push through. So it was pretty much a range day yesterday, a little bit of a breakout that failed, but pretty much just sideways. So we may get the same, or we may, because sometimes I've noticed when we have a lot of pushing up, we have a few days of sideways. So leg and a leg, maybe a lower higher, trap some longs. Trouble is, we could get a leg and a leg, and we may have a bigger channel, so you've got to be a little bit careful here. So channel break, new low. So are we going up or are we going down? That is the question. So we have got some news coming up. Well, I say news. Powell speaking again. 2 days in a row. It's a little bit shallow for me, although I expect that to get stopped out. You could say it's a higher low. It's more like a break rather than a lower high. I know Mac is a bit questionable when we get 3 bars. I think so. I think it's more like a break. The trouble is we could have a leg and a leg, so this may come down a little bit and then turn. So I don't really want to get into a trade here, because you could get stung. Let's find out where the legs will be if we have got 2 legs down. So there's one, and there's the second one. So we're actually past 2 legs. So let's see what happens there. A little bit risky for me, because it could turn and have another go. And we've already had an attempt to get a new high, so that's what I mean. This could go bullish and have another go. Okay, it's broken that one, so that's interesting. So leg and a leg. If this comes down much further, see, then as far as I'm concerned, I'll be looking for shorts. So I was just looking on Thomas Discord. Someone went long there, someone went short. Someone just said, thanks for taking my money. So longs there, risky as hell. We've already had a push up really to make a new high. So I wouldn't be thinking about longs at the moment. You've got to wait for a higher low really. But I think once we've had a push up like that, I wouldn't be thinking about, certainly wouldn't be thinking about going long there. That's for certain. I think you're asking for trouble there. I don't think this is quite steep enough for me to consider it. No, it's not really. It may be, but it just doesn't seem quite steep enough for me. Depends how you look at it. I kind of like the way it sits under there. Possibly a failure. My only slight issue, we've had 2 legs, so I wouldn't want to be going short there, just in case. There's a leg and a leg. It may come down some more. It's always possible. Even if it is a larger channel, I don't think that even comes close to the top anyway. So if that is a larger channel, you don't really want to be going short there anyway. I don't think it is. It's a little bit too shallow for me. But I mean, if that finished bearish, you don't really want to be going long into there, in my opinion. But it's just a bit unclear at the moment. There is a possibility it could still try up. Try and move up. It's always possible. Anybody notice what Karina said yesterday about Apex using a different provider? It's all right. I had a look around last night to see if anybody else had heard of it. I didn't. I can't remember exactly what she said. I'm sure it was a new provider in 3 months. All right, I'm desperate to trade all my 20 accounts. The trouble is, every time I make profit now, I'm making half the profit I could potentially be making. But I just don't trust Rhythmic enough to trade all 20. If something does go wrong, I can live with losing 10, but not 20. Bouncing off this 61.8 level. It could still go up. It's always possible. I'm not convinced it's going to, but it certainly could. So we've got a leg, a break, 2 pushes down to a new low. Might just put that there just in case, because there is a possibility. No, I don't even think there is, because the bottoms don't even line up really. So we've got a channel with a break or a possible overshoot, which can result in a bigger correction. That could still be a correction or a reversal. It's not really clear to me. Hey, Chris, how you doing, mate? It's not really clear to me exactly what's going on here, whether we're going to have another attempt to push up or whether we're just trying to. No idea. Not a clue. Volume's quite low, actually, considering how strong that was moving. There is a possible correction, but I wouldn't. If once it goes below there, correction over, I think it's more like in the downtrend, I think. There may be a larger channel. We'll soon find out in a minute. So if you look at this, if this is a channel on this smaller chart here, if you look at this as a channel, we've made one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. It's a bit hard to say at the moment. Channel break, new high. Now that's interesting. Wonder if there is a larger channel there. 2 legs up, possibly. Does it look any better on here? It's hard to know here. If we hold here 3 times, we've held once, twice. If it holds here and doesn't close above there, we may get something like that. We got a little channel with a break and a new high. Might be one push up, second push up, and then come down. If it can close below there, then we may continue down, but this thing could still go up. That's interesting. See, on this chart here, excuse me, we're still here, so we've got a little channel of the break. 2 pushes up to a new high. Yeah, it's just not very clear at the moment, is it? There is a possibility we could be going up, but it's still early days yet. Certainly looks like we're trying to make a new high. Yeah, it's just unclear really. It could be a correction and a push up for a new high, but it's definitely struggling. We missed that by about a tick, I think. May still go up. It's just a bit unclear whether we're going to start to come down or push up. But what I will say is we've had 1 attempt to go higher and a second attempt to go higher, so it is struggling. So perhaps that's it. It may just be another range day. We may just be making range highs. There's always a possibility. Uptrend break with 2 lows correction now, expecting new high, just very slow. Yeah, it's hard to say. See, that could be a break, could be an overshoot, could be a bunch of stuff. See, we had a good attempt there, didn't we? And we're having another go. Whether it's fail or not, see, it could just be bouncing here. We may come down, we may end up ranging. Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? We have got Powell speaking again. Hopefully it doesn't go on as long as yesterday. It was over 2 hours, wasn't it? So I've got that there anyway. It's clearly finding some support there, isn't it? So I've just got this down in resistance, the natural place at the bottom if it does. But yesterday was pretty much a range day, nothing more really. We had that little push higher and a little break lower, but we ended, I think we closed here just in this range. So, but we have had some really strong pushes up, haven't we? So, just may go sideways for a bit. I think I was looking at Al Brooks. Speedy mentioned it. I was looking at Al Brooks last night and he said we could do a lot of sideways. We could have a possible big pullback. It's hard to say. A second entry long, but red bar, it shoots up. Yeah. I'm just not sure here because we've kind of had a couple of legs, a little bit more than a leg there, so that you can say, okay, there's a, you know, after this push up, there's a correction, which you probably expect, I think, especially if it is an overshoot or a break, I know. You could say, okay, that's a correction. So if you can get a decent signal bar here, then maybe you could ride it to the top, but there's nothing, there just really wasn't anything anyway. Nothing you can do there. That's too late. That's too far up. Although it made it to the top, but you just don't know, do you? You really don't know. Once it makes a bunch of attempts higher, sort of the more attempts it makes, the more chance I think it's got of coming back, of just giving up. But perhaps it is just a bit slow because of Powell. But we have been up here and we're a tick off making a new high, but we've certainly made a couple of efforts. So I think it depends what happens here. If this comes down bearish, it may come down. It may even be a tighter range just at the moment. Who knows? There's certainly some support there, so who knows? I mean, it could just go up, down. I got no idea at the moment. It's just unclear, really. It's a bit too early in the day. The volume's a bit low. Whether that's, like you say, summer hours or whether it's a little bit to do with Powell. Well, I don't know. Who knows? God only knows. Oh, look at that. Thomas Wade's just put that up as well. Literally, just now. So he's put that line as well. So maybe it is. It always makes me feel better if he does something. So you can clearly see it there. There's a little bit of support and resistance there and a bounce there. So after 2 legs, so maybe we'll go a bit sideways. TR is miserable. Yeah, it's low, isn't it, today? Very low. In fact, if we look at the difference between the two, it's 156 here and 164 there. I've never even really noticed that there's much of a difference, to be honest with you. There should be more of a difference in the count here. I'm just going to reload this top one. That's interesting. Another bounce. So 1, 2, 3. We've bounced a few times there. To be honest with you, though, that could go a bit higher, so I'd probably avoid that. It might work, it might not. See if I can get a bit of a difference between those. You're supposed to get, ideally, 400. That's 14. Yeah, they're too close, really. Let me just see if I can change that a bit. Let's put it to 5 days. See if that makes a difference. We've still deselected that, so see if that changed. Ideally, want a difference of 400 minimum. That's at 0. That's at 600. That's fine. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. 58, 67. There's still a difference between the ATRs, but these bars are slightly different. That might be why. I don't know. Yeah, that's changed now. So if you took that, trigger just stopped you out. You want it to break out there, really. So we've made a matching high, but that news is coming up. Although it's more Powell speaking, so I don't expect fireworks. I don't think there's a bigger channel there. It's possible, but a bit early. We're clearly bounced there, struggled. We bounced once. We've broken higher than all this. We've taken out, well, if you had any stops 1 tick above there, they got eaten there anyway. I think we just assume sometimes everyone puts 1 tick above. Sometimes when it breaks up here, it goes 2 or 3 ticks before it pushes. So if you're going to short here, people put their stops at all different places, really, don't they? We just tend to assume, or I just tend to assume they're 1 tick above. In a lot of cases they are, but it could go higher. It could do. Could continue up. We could have a leg there, a correction, and another leg. But we are, if you look on the daily, I was looking at Max last night. In fact, let's get it up. Probably easier than changing one. Every time I change one, these colours change. So let's just have a look at Max on the daily.
Good run on.
Yeah. So we've got that push up, a correction, a couple of bounces and the push up. So we're right at the very top of this. I mean, that's a serious amount of buying, isn't it? And we're right at the very top. And in fact, we'll be even higher now after that push up there. We may have even broken that. So I don't know how all these work, but they still seem to work. Well, he thinks they seem to work. They certainly seem to be working up in that way. You got a couple of legs back. Nice big bullish bar. That was going to go up, you'd think. But yeah, we're right at the very top of this, so we could get an overshoot, or we could get a dramatic drop. What's it seems to think we're going to get a drop. Al Brooks seems to think we're overdue a 10% correction. It sounds like a lot, 10%. I suppose it is really, but what are we at? We're at the 560, so you're talking 560, which would take us down to over 500. It wasn't long ago since we were there, to be honest with you. It's only a few weeks, so mind you, after a big correction like that, you'd expect some strong buying, so we may recover a bit, but that's what he seems to think, or we could continue sideways for a bit before we get it. Who knows? No one really knows, do they? I suppose the people who've been doing it the longest tend to probably have a better idea. I think he's talking about typically history over the last amount of so many years, or however he's coming to his conclusion. Okay, so Powell is speaking now. I might get him on my phone so I can just see when he's done. Okay, so that's cleaned out any cobwebs. That one didn't trigger. See, depending if you took some in this, like I say, your stop could be anywhere up here really, within reason. And that to me looks like it's cleared everything up. Let me just get him on my phone so at least I know when he's finished, because where are you, mate? Live. Powell on the Hill. Yeah, it's not actually started yet. People are still getting their seats. In fact, I'll tell you what I might do. Oh no, it's alright, it's alright. I might get him on a little window here. There's a little bit of background noise anyway, isn't there? Saves you listening to me hear it all constantly. Can you hear any volume there? Can you hear anything? Have I got volume muted there? You can hear me. Can you hear Powell? Market doesn't care about Powell anymore. You don't think so? You can't hear him. Do you want me to get rid of him? Do you want to listen to him or not? Or shall I just bill him? But not Powell. All right, let me just move him up. That stream. It's just on YouTube, mate. Let me just. Why haven't I got any volume? Let me just stick it up here a minute. Oh, I've got the volume muted, that's why. Do you want me to leave him on for a bit of chatter? Or do you want me to shut him down? Choice is yours. I don't know whether it'd make a difference. In fact, yesterday we had a couple of little spikes, didn't we? So, okay, possible failed breakout there, but my slight concern is we've only really had a bounce. I'm not really convinced that we're ranging just at the moment. There could be a larger channel. I prefer your expertise. Okay, let's bet him. I've never been accused of having expertise. But I'll take that. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's not something I really want to short there because we've come up. We've only really bounced here. Now this could be a correction to go higher, so it's got stopped out anyway. So yeah, I'll tell you what, folks. Listen to me now. I'll tell you what. I would, if you don't already watch Bart's videos. He doesn't stream, but he makes videos. He's got some real skills, Bart has. He's a nice guy as well. So if you've not seen any of his videos, he usually makes daily videos on his trade. He's got some real skills. He's very good at what he does. And what I like about him is he's got bloody big balls as well. He takes a trade and he waits for his points. He very rarely gives up and takes less. He puts where he wants to take and he gets his profits. And I like that. He's got a lot of confidence. He's got no issues with taking. He takes quite a few trades, probably maybe 2 to 5 trades a day. So he takes quite a few trades. And he does lose the odd one, but he wins a lot. Big balls, you say? Yep, big balls, Sam. He's really good, Bart is. He's really good. He's very confident. And I like him. So if you don't watch his videos, I would. Let me just get one of his videos. You probably all know who he is anyway, but he's very good. I enjoy watching his because he's very good. He trades a lot of breakouts, and he's very good at getting them right. So he's somebody that I tend to watch regularly. I always watch Thomas Wade's videos. I always watch Mac's videos. And I always watch his. Sam's as well, I have a watch. I like to see how Sam's getting on. He's a nice lad, Sam is. Where is it? 15 hours ago. It was before that, wasn't it? Where are you, Bart? Where are you, mate? You're here somewhere. What's it got a bad day as well, didn't he, yesterday? Alpine down nearly $17,000. Mind you, sounds like a lot, but to him it's not. Bart, there he is. That guy there. I mean, he's got balls of steel. He really has. He does really well. Don't know what that is. But yeah. Watch him. He doesn't give up. He takes his full profit. Look. I'd be shitting myself now and just jumping in here, but look, he sits and he waits. But look, it's about $4,500 there in that trade over his accounts. But look, just sits there until he gets his profit. Doesn't give in. So definitely worth a watch, Bart. He's a nice guy as well. I've chatted to him a couple of times. But yeah, for sure, watch him. He's got some skills. Yeah, he's a nice guy, isn't he? He decides on his profit and he sits there and he rarely gets out of them, and he doesn't take no shit, does he, from the market? He gets in, he says that's the profit I want, and he takes it. I'm watching a lot of his because I don't trade a lot of failed breakouts, but they are very lucrative if you know what you're doing. The trouble is with me, from my trading journey, I tended to stick to the safer ones. It was only the last few months, really, that I started, maybe picking tops and bottoms, when I understand what's going on. But he trades a lot of breakouts and he's very successful at them. So if you don't watch him, I'd say definitely watch him. He's worthwhile, and watching guys like that take a particular trade and who's very good at it, is definitely some extra knowledge and worth taking for sure. Yeah. Since I like the market owes him. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He don't take no crap, does he? He just says, that's where I'm putting my profit and I ain't moving it. He very rarely moves it. He does occasionally, but, if something goes sideways, sometimes you're going to go out. But another thing he does as well, he adds to a trade as well, which is something I've never done. But if you know what you're doing, if you're confident in a trade, it makes perfect sense. But yeah, definitely worth a watch. I watch his every day. So, leg up correction. This does look like a possible larger channel, doesn't it? It could be. The breakout could fail. It's possible. But to me, the way that's running up there, possible correction and another leg. So, I'm not thinking about fading the breakout. And those all-time highs are... Whoops. Oopsie daisy. Let me just move that over there. What the? Let's get rid of this. I don't need it, do I? We know we're up here, all-time highs. I don't know how they do it. I grab my 200 scalp and shove it in down. I know. I think about this a lot. Now I'm trading larger amounts of accounts, and it's this journey we take as a trader. It is baby steps, and every step you take forward, you improve and you improve. Now, I remember going back, 18 months maybe, how nervous and sweating and heart pounding I was just taking one evaluation. And then when I eventually started a PA, exactly the same. I can trade 1 or 2 PA accounts now, and I don't get nervous, doesn't bother me in the slightest. 10, it does a little bit. So it's just working up to that next ladder, and it's getting used to that extra trading. Now, I know in my own mind, well, I'm 90% confident in my own mind, I've got enough skills to make money. But because I haven't made a considerable amount over a long period of time yet, you still have those doubts. Because trading is so difficult, I haven't got to the level now where it seems like a full-time job that I know what I'm doing. If I was a bricklayer and I worked on site for 5 years, I'd be confident. I wouldn't even have to think about what I'm doing. I turn up, I do my job, and I go home. Whereas this, you always feel like you're kind of learning and learning something new. But now I'm trading these 10 accounts. There is a little bit more nerves there for sure. But, which is why, going back a couple of weeks, I was taking my trades and I took 3 in a week, and every one of them I got out. I think 2 of them I got out for a point, 1 I got out for a point and a quarter, because as soon as it started going in my favour, straight away, I'm there with my stop. So I thought, if I'm only taking a point profit, I might as well reduce the risk to 1 contract and go for 2 points. At least that way I'm getting the same amount of profit. But then when I moved down to 1 contract, that pressure dropped, and I was taking way more riskier trades and losing more. So I decided to go back to the 2 contracts now, and it just adds enough pressure to make me very selective in my trades. And the last couple I've took, the one we took was at the day before yesterday, really nice trade. I noticed Thomas Wade and a couple of others took them as well, and that gives you that little bit more confidence in yourself, because it does take time to get that self-belief. I trade small cash account and copy to evals. Got to get used to trading cash. Yeah, having a stroke. Yeah. Every sort of new level you climb up to, I think there's a little bit extra pressure. It makes sense, doesn't it? But I think at some point when you hit a certain level, so for instance, trading 20 accounts, that's another level up from 10. When you get used to trading those 20 accounts, nothing stays the same. That amount of stress, it's impossible to do that same thing every day and to have that amount of stress be exactly the same. It's impossible. As you get used to anything in life, the nerves, whatever it is, get less and less and less. But as we just climb up to these next levels in training, because it is a real skill that takes time, and every time you climb a level, you get the nerves. But Bart seems to I don't know obviously what he feels stressed, but the way he trades looks like he trades at ease. He's comfortable what he's doing. And we've heard lots of traders say you need to be confident, you need to believe, and I think I would class myself as an inexperienced trader. I've been trading for 3.5 years, so I would say I'm just coming up to that intermediate level where I've passed all the beginner stuff. I've stopped revenge trading, and I've moved to that next level where I'm starting now to be able to build, but I still have the odd hiccup, swapping and changing contract sizes and that, just to find what seems to, be a nice sort of balance for me. But Bart seems to be at a bunch of more levels than me, where he's comfortable, confident, and he just sets his profit and he just lets it run. And in a lot of cases, even if he's trading lots of accounts, he adds to them, which takes another layer of, confidence. So I think with this business, it's about finding experienced people that are a few runs up the ladder than you and learning from them, and, maybe a few other traders a few runs down the ladder from you, learn from you. And it is because there's no real competition in trading, I find people are quite happily to help you and to give you tips and advice, because I think they probably know how difficult it is. So I kind of like that. TR stand for, trading range. That'll be trading range, yeah. But yeah, he's definitely worth a look, Bart. He's a nice guy as well. I've chatted to him a couple of times. In fact, he was on the stream a couple of weeks ago. But there's some really nice people out there. There's very few people that are arseholes, to be honest with you. We have had one or two, on the stream, but we've filtered them out pretty quickly. But everyone's pretty friendly, happy to give you advice and a bit of support. And I like that. It's a nice business to be in, I think. So, another thing for you guys. So you guys have got me. You can look at my charts. I've got this guy, so he's got that as a separate channel, push up a correction separate channel. So it's nice for me to look at him, and it just helps me have a little bit of confidence, because, you guys can look at my chart and think, well, it looks different than mine. Am I right? Are you right? Possible second entry long gear. So I'm going to get an order ready.
Order submitted.
Just in case. Now, Powell is speaking, so we could get a little bit of movement, but you don't seem to get a lot. Trouble is, with the last trade, you message it, you got rid of it. Leg and a leg. That's coming down a little bit too far. So let's change that to there. And let's bring this up. Depending on how you look at that, there may be a little bit of an overshoot there. I'm a bit unsure. I mean, if that finishes right at the very top, I may have a go at it, but there is always that possibility that we could just be a range here, and this may come down and back to that range. Yeah, I'm not
Order
a fan of what I'm
cancelled.
seeing at the moment. That's closed below, so there is a possibility. Let's think. We've had two push-ups and a lower high, so if it is rangy, we could come back in. But for me, it's gone out a little bit too far, I think. But just going to get rid of that for a minute. Chris, yeah, he does lose some failed breakouts, he does, but he always seems to make more than he loses. In fact, he has some really good days. On his PA accounts, I think he was up something like, was it a week and a half ago? He was up over $1,000 in each of his accounts. He just had a blinding day. I think it was up 14 or 15. Has he got 14, 15 accounts? I think he was up $14,000 to $15,000. Yeah, that's the trouble. Powell could say anything, really, couldn't he? If they're obviously squeezing him for something, aren't they? I've only put that there because Thomas Wade's put it there, mind you. It's obviously a channel of some sort. Whether it hooks onto that or not, I don't know. But so, see, depending on how you draw this, let me just get rid of that because it's mixing the picture up. You could even say it is a possible overshoot, whether it is or not. Who knows? But if you bring that down there to that next swing, let's take that to there. Depends how you draw it, really. Touch there, touch there. You could say it's an overshoot. Depends if it continues on up. May extend it. I don't know. Maybe like that. So a little channel break, new low. See, it could just be a couple of legs. Leg and a leg. Could be a leg and a leg. Just a bit of a fell breakout. It doesn't seem to be slowing down, does it? Where's there going to be liquidity there? Probably, possibly there. Oh. That might just be two legs. Or it could be an overshoot. This to me looks like it's moving back into this channel. I'm just going to get him on my phone so at least I know when he's finished. What is going on here? Okay, leg and a leg. I wonder. What if there's a bigger channel there? A spike in a channel, possibly. We've had a leg and a leg. If this pushes back above this, then there could be a larger channel there. Any different on here? It's certainly possible. If we can push back above this EMA and get above here, then I'd say yes. At the moment, sure. I like the way we've had two nice legs down. So far, it's holding, but a long for me, just at the moment, would be too risky because we could just bounce off this or this and come back down. This might not be valid. We want it to come above this and bounce on this line, really, I think, before I went long. But I do like the fact that we've had a nice couple of legs down. So we've got a channel up, couple of legs down. And, so maybe that is a channel. Maybe it is a channel. Maybe it is a channel with a break, two legs down. Let's see if this traps. If this traps and comes down, Trouble is, because it's gone above this, I'll be unsure about going short there. Not only that, we've had 2 legs down, we've bounced off a possible bigger channel, so going short here I think would be probably just a little bit risky. But it'd be nice to get a higher low. If we can trap some shorts there, that might be an option to go long. But this is clearly the top for me. I like the way we've come down and we've pushed back above it. I like the way we bounced there, which told me that line was valid. But I do like the 2 legs down, 2 bounces there, a few legs there, so I'd like to see a bearish bar trigger here. If it triggers and comes down, I'm not interested in anything. Trapped fair value gap again and bounced down. I am looking at those fair value gaps. They do make sense, don't they? And I think as a price action trader, I think it'll only help you reading those, because if you can find good solid signal bars where it's come and filled a fair value gap. You know, I was watching that girl, I forget her name now, she trades it, and she was taking a long, and I'm thinking we're coming to the second leg, so I wouldn't be going long. Sure enough, it trapped her, and she lost. So I think as a price action trader, we're reading, you know, ICT sort of stuff, fair value gaps, I think it'll only help you as a price action trader. Okay, so that's a little bit neutralish, slightly bearish, but I'd like to see that trigger. See if it triggers, we may get a higher low, because we've had a little channel with a break and a new low. Let's see what happens here. I mean, it still may come down into here. That's a possibility, not necessarily. You're watching the 2-minute NQ. Yeah, I am watching more and more. I started watching. Who's the guy? Because there's ICT. Now that guy he's like the equivalent of Al Brooks, isn't he? For price action, he's very, very technical. But there's another guy I started watching, the Bold guy. What's his name? He breaks it down into a lot shorter stuff, but a lot of it makes perfect sense. As we know, the market generally overlaps, and wherever you find there's a gap, it generally likes to fill it. So are we going to get a higher low here? My concern is this price is under that EMA at the moment. The EMA is slightly tipping. So trouble is, if you took a long here, it could trigger you and come down. See, if this is wrong, I mean, look at that. If that's wrong, you would be thinking this is going to come down. So is there a bigger channel there? Let's see if this traps longs and comes down. I'm not sure whether that is a bigger channel. I was hoping that would be bullish and trigger. Yeah, see, I'd like to use something like that to trade my own account. I'm going to put about £5,000 of my own money in the next month, maybe a couple of weeks, into my own account, and I'm just going to trade it, just a couple of micros. I'm not going to go mad. I'm just going to trade a very small amount, just to slowly start building, you know, just to get a bit of confidence trading my own. But yeah, just a couple of micros, just a very small amount. But I'd like to have a bigger a bigger strategy, because when you trade your own money, then there's no issues with drawdown. You could let the thing, you could risk $10 or $20 and let the thing run all day bloody long if you wanted to. And I kind of like trading a bigger picture, maybe trade something down here and put something up here, or maybe have a trailing stop which follows swings or something like that. I don't know. I'd like to see that break above there. But to me, this is a channel, and we've tried to push up again. It's hard to say. I'm not convinced there is a bigger channel. I just don't like the look of it. But I would like to see that break above there before I think about taking a short. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Yeah, I think it's a good idea, isn't it? Trade a bit of your own money. Just to start, but trade a very small amount. But I like the idea of going for something on a bigger picture, because you haven't got to worry about drawdown. I could let mine go up 50 points and come down and stop me out for break even, and there's no difference. It doesn't make a difference. But I do like the idea of having maybe a slight different dynamic to my trading. Maybe trade this for my usual 3 hours, and then maybe come back for an hour or two in the evening and trade something on a bigger picture, maybe, or, something like that. He's looking old now, Powell, isn't he? I'm just looking at... I've got the camera right on him. So, I want to see that break above there, really, to give us a possible second entry short. If it does and comes down... let's have a look. Come on, push up, boy. I've still got the other channel on as a bigger possible channel up. But this, to me, is looking more like it's trying to trap traders rather than push up. But I could be wrong. See, this is where it's useful having this second chart, because the second chart could trigger above there a little bit and give you a better option, but we've got no... I don't tend to take them. Some traders do, but I like to push above. Having said that, if we push above there, we're not really trapping anybody. If that was a bullish bar, then pushing above would be an extra bonus because you were trapping longs, and if it does come down, when it hits their stop, that gives it a little bit more momentum. But at the moment, this is just a little bit risky in my opinion. I think it's likely we're going to get a new low here, but when it's doing this, a quick little jerk there, so it's too low now, I think, and it's not broke above there, so I'm just staying out of this. But I think it is likely we're going to come down a bit, certainly past this, but I'm staying out just in case. I am watching Powell. I'm waiting to hear him speak. I'm assuming if any damage is going to happen, it's going to be when he's opening his mouth, I think. Yeah, it's a shame really that come down that far and didn't break above there, because I may have had a go at that, but it is starting to look now more like just a breakout. Could probably even take that up a little bit. Not just yet. Little devil, Marco took that. And it never broke higher either. Yeah, Marco took it. It never broke higher. Yeah, some traders will take it. For me, it never broke higher, and it was quite low. So for me, I think there was a little bit too much risk there. How far has it come down? Not that much, I don't think. I think Marco goes for 6 ticks. So, is he in it or is he taking it? Okay, he got in on a limit order back here. Where did he get in? About there. Marco got in and he goes for 6 ticks. So, he'd just be out, I think. Where did he get out? He got out there. A little bit higher. So, yeah. just got out for 6 ticks. Good on him. Yeah, I just wasn't sure about that. It's slow sit. I considered matching high. Yeah, is it a problem? I don't know. Is it more about how it visually looks? I like the fact that we've trapped some longs there, and there's quite likely going to be some long stops there possibly. So, it's like, the thing is, if we don't get a second entry, we can then use something called a visual second entry. So, is this a visual second entry? I don't know. It's a push up and a slow pull down, so I wouldn't consider it 2 pushes up. But the trouble is, everybody's different, so everybody can, have that slight. We always have that slight. Let's use our experience and make a judgment. So we always have that judgment call, don't we? And I think that's an area where you can use it. But Marco's experienced enough to know what he's doing, so he decided to take it, and it worked. So he's someone that I watch regularly. He's a good trader. He's always helped me. So he's someone I watch. Taylor's another one I watch. You get to know the experienced traders. They're a little bit further up the ladder than you. Haven't been guaranteed 1 point yet. So is this a bigger channel now? Let's have a look. Maybe it is. Leg. Yeah, maybe. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. If it continues down, then I think it probably is. But at the moment, does it look any better on there? Yeah. Well, I don't know, actually. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But we are ranging here, aren't we? And that, to me, now is starting to look like a fell breakout, unless it bounces in and pushes up. My guess is it's going to come down probably to this area here. Is there going to be liquidity there? Quite likely after 2 legs down. So if we can get a couple of pushes up or something, we've got a leg down. So if we can get a decent setup, I think we're okay to go short still a bit. That's going to take us right down to these bottoms, which is exactly where we want to get down. So if we can get a little second entry short here, maybe, that's an option, I think. That about there, so that would take us down to right down to the bottoms, where we need to get to. So we've had a break and a new low. So let's just put it back for now because we haven't continued down yet. We have made a new low, but we could still get a second entry short of the underside of this to come down. After that leg, I think it's likely. It's likely that this is the next area. There's going to be some liquidity down here, isn't there? Leg and a leg, or leg and a leg. If you're going to think this thing is going up, that'd be an area where you may want to get in. So I've left it as a single channel there with a break and a new low, and I've on the chart to your left, my above, I've put that at a slightly larger channel. So we got the best of both worlds to look at. So far, that's sitting quite nicely. Okay, touch of the top there. There's the failure. There's the lower high. Well, no, it's not technically, is it? Did it break above it? Did it? No, it didn't. Okay, on this sharp here, we got a little double top here. Unfortunately, though, it's only really a first entry if that breaks below there. Let me have a look here. If, there's a failure. Second entry short there. I mean, it does look like it's coming down, but unfortunately, it's going to be a lower high for me. I think it's likely to get down this area, but if we can get a lower high below here, then I'd expect this second leg. Got to wait for the lower high really to confirm it. This is looking a bit better. We've got a bigger channel here with a break, but we've got to get a lower high because there is a possibility it could push up or whoa, steady Neddy. Quick little drop there. I wonder if that was, yeah, Powell is speaking now, so whether it was something he said, I can't hear him, but whether it was something he said, we had a little lurch down there. So there is some support building up there that I can see. Right along there on this second chart, you can see it there. So we've hit it once, twice, and a bunch of times there, so it could push up. There is a bearish bar there that's triggered, so it could go up. It's always possible. But I'd say, based on this, there may be some liquidity below there. If that finishes bullish, which it hasn't, so I'd like to see it break above this and give us a lower high, but there is some support here, so does it look the same on there? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's similar. Can have a channel with a break. One attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower, off in that direction. Could be a penguin style trade. It's just too early to tell, really. It's hard to tell, really. It's a little bit choppy there, so it's just a little bit unclear. I'd have preferred a lower high there, but the trouble is, there's also really a little bit of a range there. You can see the tops there and holding a little bit there and even a bit there. So it could be a little bit of a dangerous area to get stuck in here. Okay, I'm going to let it sort itself out. Powell's speaking now anyway, so I'm going to let it sort itself out. We go for about an hour and 20 minutes. So I'm just going to make a quick cup of tea. Let this sort itself out. I'm not getting involved in this at the moment because it is stuck in this little bit of a sideways as well here. It certainly could be. There's also a possibility of something like that. But I won't want to go short here right in the middle of this with that support building up. So I'm just going to leave it like that just for about 3 minutes. Just while I throw a tea bag into a cup of tea. And I will be back. It's my 5 minutes. There it is. Okay, 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Right. Is this working down in a channel? Quite probably. Trouble is, it's a little bit choppy as well, so it could get you mashed up. It is slightly downwards, but it's also a little bit sideways, so you may get into a trade here and it could push up and sting you. So I'm just going to switch my mic off just for a second. I just got a sausage roll here. I want to chop it up first, so just so it's not echoing down the mic. Okay. So same again on this other chart. Got a break. 2 pushes down to what is about to be a new low, I think. Yeah, there we go. There is kind of a lower high there, but it's got a matching top. So same again. Not a massive fan, and not only that, it is very sideways here, so it could break below there and pull back in. I think if it gets so far down, it'll come down to the bottom here, but I'm just not a massive fan of this just at the moment. Right, yeah, I think this area is very likely now. It is slow, bud. Yeah, you're right. Whether it's something to do with Powell talking, it doesn't seem to do a lot, but you don't know whether institutional traders tend to slow things down. I don't know. That's the answer. He is talking now, so we got this. Nothing you can do here, really, can you? I think it's likely we're going to come down the bottom, but we've got a little channel here. It could trigger here and have a little break. Who knows? CPI and PPI this week, yeah. I don't mind those so much because you get sort of fireworks and they're up, they're down, and they they go stable pretty quickly after a couple of minutes. But with him talking, you don't know what he's going to say, do you see? Although you never really guess there'll be anything talking, but you don't know what he's going to say. If he happens to say the wrong thing, you don't know whether we're going to get a quick move in a particular direction. But there's nothing major here anyway at the moment, enough setup-wise. You could say there's a second entry short there, lower height. Didn't break above that one, though, and it was a little bit too low for me. I'd want to get out before there, so if that had pushed a bit higher up to a double top or something and down here bearish, I may have had a go at that, but Marco took it. I don't know if it was any different on his chart. Let me have a look. No, it wasn't actually. It didn't break out. Let's attempt that setup. Yeah. It always makes me nervous when it doesn't break above there. And look how low it is compared to the lows here. You just don't know whether it's going to come down a bit and have another go. That's one attempt to go higher, and we're coming down. Sometimes we will get another attempt and it might break above there. So that for me was just a little bit... I didn't quite feel comfortable with it. I tend to know I can look at a trade and I either like it or I don't. I don't have to think too much about it. It either fills me full of dread or I tend to just jump in if I like it. Like the signal bar, but we're right at the bottoms. Now, I think it's likely to get back here, but we could have a little pullback first, but there we go, straight down. There's going to be some liquidity down here, and that's cleaned most of it off, I think. So let's see now if this range comes back into play. We have had a failed breakout there, so we may get one here. I don't think there's anything larger down there. I wouldn't have thought so, not just yet. So a little double top there, that's cleaned out anything there, I think. Once it got below there, it just quick dropping. You know, I never really thought I'd be able to control myself enough to trade, because I found, you know, with emotions, I was so impulsive at times. But I think with time practice, if you are finding it hard and you are finding you tend to jump in without thinking, I think that's a lot down to, you know, the psychological side of trading, the nerves, there's kind of excitement, the sort of fear of missing out and all that sort of stuff. But I think with time, you will settle. It's like anything in life. No matter what you do in life, eventually you'll start to settle and your brain will start to work rather than those emotions. You'll tend to think before you act. So many times, I don't know how many times I used to just hit that buy and sell button and all of a sudden, you know, I'd regret it. But now I have time to, it's almost like things used to go in, things would happen so quick, you wouldn't have to time, but things have slowed down, not slow motion now, but, you know, there's always time to think. You think you've got to act straight away, but a lot of times it'll trigger and then have a little pullback. A lot of the time it will. And, you know, when you do have time sometimes, and much better if you're not sure, just to stay out and even miss a trade. I used to hate missing trades. It used to wind me up if I didn't take a trade. But it does not bother me in the slightest now, because the sensible thing to do, the sensible thing to do is just to do nothing, really, if you're not sure. Never bothers me missing a trade, not in the slightest anymore. That was quite a strong move there. So Powell's not actually speaking at the moment. He's being questioned. There's another guy talking. So that's interesting. Someone's taken a trade here. Maybe that one. And they're riding it to above the top. Only slight bit that concerns me is this breakout. A lot of times we get something similar here, but that is pretty strong buying off there. There's 4 touches there. So whether that makes a difference or not. What I could say is if I put that there, then you consider that a little breakout as well. But we've had 4 little touches there in the same place, and all of a sudden, woof, it's just shot up quick 4 points. So you could consider that an overshoot. It's certainly passed its test at the bottom of the range, so after that overshoot it may have another attempt, but I think it's highly likely we may end up at some point working our way up to here. No. So there'll be some liquidity there and some liquidity there and quite likely there as well. So I think it would be quite likely that we would break this area and clear out that. Whether we'll get up here or not, I don't know, but I think it would be likely there, certainly there. If we can get above here, then I'd certainly expect it to get to the top. There may be a higher low here, but it's hard to say. We could have another go at this level. See, looking on this other chart, a possible second entry short here. If this finishes bearish, we could get a failure, a short failure to go up. I wouldn't take that one straight away. It's a little bit congested there. But if we can get a bearish bar, which triggers, a failure might be an option. It may just push up. If we can get above there, then I think this is the natural area. Wasn't a massive fan of that. It is a higher low, but it's a little bit square there. It's a little bit below that EMA, so you never know. Yeah, that ATO, that ATR is bang on now. 158 here, 158 up top, so. So tick above there, that'll take out any liquidity there. Okay. Interesting. Second entry short there on that chart. It's a doji, but it's bearish bar as well. Come on, speed up. It's definitely low volume. Definitely no volume. Maybe summer trading. Maybe part of the news. In fact, looking at this, there's kind of a head and shoulders there, isn't there? We've got a shoulder, a head, a shoulder. So if we bounce here, I think it likely would come down. So if we can get a bounce off here, a nice short up here. I'd like to get above this though, really. just to clear out that. I don't think we'll get above there. Well, we may do, but there's definitely two legs down there as well. Sitting there, so we got a leg and a leg. Okay, so a break. Be nice to push up now. There's a failure there. I think it likely we get up here, but you never know. We could trigger you. We could get a bigger correction. I don't know at the moment. It's not ideal. So there is an overshoot. There is a correction. Are we coming down? I wouldn't have thought so. Not just yet. I'd like to see it clear up that and here first, which I think is certainly feasible. If we can do that, a channel up, a break, another leg up, break these highs here, and then give us something bearish. And that would sort of the shoulder, the head, the shoulder, that would give us the second shoulder, and then a nice big strong push down, right the way down to here, getting all those lovely points. Wouldn't it be nice? There is a failure there, but because we've had that overshoot and a correction, I'm just staying out of this. It's a little bit sideways here. We could have a bigger correction there. It may trigger and come down again before it pushes up, if it pushes up. Okay, we get above this bar here. For me, we'll get above here, I think. At least we can say we've got a channel with a break and a new high. If we can get a nice bearish bar here, to complete that shoulder for this. Okay, we're above there, so I think we're going to likely hit this. Certainly above here. Okay, ideally above that line there, in an ideal world. And then if we come down from the top, there's going to be liquidity there and there, isn't there? Yeah. There's certainly a stack load behind there. I'm not doubting. It's definitely a clear head and shoulders. Very clear, isn't it? Shoulder, head, shoulder. I'd like to trap that short and push above here, clean that out, and then clean that out. And then hopefully give us something bearish. Push, push, push. Come on, Powell, say something positive. A little bit more, just a bit more. Come on, come on, come on. Just get above that line and then we're golden. Yeah, it does. We're not getting anything unpredictable that I can see. He is talking, but I think a lot of it is just general questions. I think more the detail. I don't know, but there's nothing I can see here that isn't doing anything uncharacteristic to the way price moves. Anyway, got a little spike in channel, little overshoot, 2 legs up, a little break, push up to the highs. So it doesn't seem to be making a difference. I think it's certainly good to be aware, and if it does start fluttering around, at least you know why. But so there's a bearish bar forming there. I'd avoid that one. One, because sometimes when we've had a break, we make 2 pushes up, so we could trap that push up. I'd like to get above there, really, I would. Having said that, if it finishes bearish, I may consider a lower high, but I do like this head and shoulders. It's very clear. But I really want to get just above there. If we can get above there, that's fine. That one, I'm not so concerned about. Because if you took that one, depending on where you got out, you may take your profits with. Come on, a couple more ticks. And also, that'll be 2 nice legs as well, I think. Yeah, if we can just get a little pop above there, we may get, come on, another few ticks. 2 or 3 ticks. That's it. Another 1 or 2. Come on, clear out that measured leg. That's close enough. We're a tick off that measured leg anyway. We've broken above there. That's good. I don't know whether we'll get that high. We may do. If we get that high and clear that out, then I'll take that channel, that range a bit higher. We're clearly above that now anyway, so that's good. Leg and a leg. Yeah, if it does get to this level and breaks above there, it'll hit this top, so we may get a larger range then. Fact, touch, 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 touch. It's quite nice. If it does it here as well, then I'll consider that as a. It does look like that's where it's going, but we're up to that measured leg now, so it just doesn't seem like there's any slowdown on this buy-in. What's going on? Yeah, it says in for this. Does my apex value reset when I am rebuilding the... I am rebuild. The evaluation is blown. If you don't cancel it, if you take an evaluation and you blow it, and if you don't cancel it, they will charge you the following month or the 30 days later and restart it again. So personally, I always make a habit of if I blow one, I cancel it straight away, unless you want it to start. But I like to control when it starts. Incidentally, I haven't mentioned it, that they did extend the, well, exactly the same offer we got on now. I did put it on the top. They've extended it till the end of July, so it's exactly the same. It's 80% off everything, apart from the 150, the 250, and the 300Ks. They will cost you $40, and if you pass them and go onto a PA fee, your PA fee will be $85 just on those 3 accounts. The remainder, the 25, the 50, 75, and 100, are just 80% off, and the normal, either monthly fee or the normal one-off fee. So they've extended that to the end of the month. So that's good news anyway. I have a feeling they won't do the 90% off again, because the last couple of times they've done it, well, specifically the last time, it just creates such a lot of problems with Rhythmic, unless they do the 90% off on the normal accounts, but they don't do the special offer on the bigger accounts. And I think it's the bigger accounts where people are trading the news, and it's just throwing a ton of volume in all of a sudden when the news kicks off. But I've noticed problems seem to start when that happens. So I'd say probably, I think 80% is probably about as good as we're going to get at the moment. But Karina did mention yesterday briefly, I can't remember what she said now. I don't know whether they're having a new, I don't quite know whether they're replacing Rhythmic in a few months. I don't know, but they've got to do something, because these Rhythmic problems keep coming, and they're going to spook customers, and they're going to be an absolute pain in the arse for Apex as well. So the sooner, in my opinion, okay, that's nice. Okay, that's cleared out. So yeah, as soon as they sort these Rhythmic problems out, in my opinion, life will just get so much less stressful. It is an absolute ball ache. Strong move there. Cleared out any liquidity, so we're up to new all-time highs again. So yeah, I've had that push up, a little correction, a push up, another bounce. So we've kind of had a couple of attempts to go lower here and here, so we could get some more upward movement. But whether that's anything to do with Powell, I'm not taking that at the moment, because it could trigger and stop you out. I would want a lower high on this, because I'm not the best at trading these. And whether I'd want a lower high going into that, who knows? But trouble is, sometimes when you get these slightly thicker ranges, whenever you get a bearish bar, a lot of times it crosses over, pushes up. So I personally wouldn't trust one of those. But if you trade breakouts, then that may be okay for you. But I'm not confident with that. As I say, a lot. There was a strategy I looked at, actually. Whenever we get a bearish bar and a relatively tight trend, often it just crosses over and pushes up. And there was something I looked at for 2 points. So it would be an 8-tick risk and an 8-tick profit. As soon as we get that bearish bar, you buy. But because of that breakout, I probably wouldn't do that. My rebill is tomorrow, and I am being charged same 80% off, so I might as well wait until tomorrow and let the monthly payment reset the account. Yeah. Yeah, the offer hasn't changed. As long as they said it, they reset it at 80. Yeah, that's fine. Just let it reset tomorrow. Let's see if this would have worked. It didn't trigger there, though. I'd have preferred that to trigger. Yeah, but always remember that if you've got multiple ones and you forget, they will recharge you. So just keep an eye on them. You've got it all in your on your main page when you open, so everything's there that tells you. See, I used to swap and change them on all the time, so my wife wouldn't find out how much I put into it. Some I put on the bank, some I put on a couple of credit cards, and I just chip away at the credit cards and after, so she didn't know what I was spending. So for any of you like me, not so much now, she does know the full picture. And I haven't taken evaluation now for 5 weeks. Managed to hold on to all 20 of these, so there is a lower high there. But I'm a little bit dubious of this in case we bounce and push higher. It's very tempting. But I'm probably going to leave this alone. We have got a bearish bar, but that hasn't triggered, see. So I'm probably going to sit out of this one because it may come back and bounce off here, in which case it doesn't give us much. It barely gives us a point. So we have got a little bit of support there to get through, so that might not be a given. But it's not my forte, tops and bottoms. It's not my strong point. Okay, that has triggered. Let's see if it pushes through there. Have you still got the ones you took the payouts from? I've got 2 of them, yeah. The 2 accounts I've had 3 payments. 1 I've blown, 2 of them I've still got. The trouble is because I'm only trading 10 of them, I'm only actually making half the amount of profit that I would, which is why it's taking a while. So I'm only trading 10 at a time. So if I only trade 2 or 3 trades a week, I'm barely getting 1 trade per per account a week. So it's taking a bit longer. I'd love to trade all 20. I wish at the time, but also I went down a week or so ago to one contract, and I took a lot more riskier trades and took a few losses. So it's slow going, but it's positive. Now, once my account starts to build a bit, I'll relax a bit more. But I really want this rhythmic issues to be sorted so I can trade all 20 accounts, because theoretically, my accounts at the moment are only just over $8,000 on all of them, because I've been trading such small, only small amounts. And I've had a few losses because I got a little bit complacent when I dropped down to one contract. So theoretically, it'd have been double that, 16,000. But the point is, I'm not putting any money in. I haven't paid a penny now to Apex for over a month. So they're going in the right direction. But once they get up there, the plan is to get them to $3,000 each, and then to take a $500 payment from each. And then hopefully every month take another $500 payment. So all I've really got to do is get $500 profit in a month, which shouldn't be that difficult at all. And anything on top of that will continue to grow the account. And then when I get to maybe 6,000, I might take 1,000 or something like that. But I think the point for me is just to get a consistent monthly payment. So if I can get $5,000 from each, $500 from each account per month, it's $10,000. It's not a bad start. And really, all you've got to do is get $125. So if I can get 1 trade per week off each account, which shouldn't be that difficult, 1 clear winning trade, that'll give the account $800 a month. So if I take 5, the account has got something to grow then till I can get to the next level. But as I say, if I could trade all 20 accounts, my account would be at 16,000. Commissions for all the accounts. The commissions per contract is just under $4. So for a round trip, so to open a position and then close a position with profit, it's $4 per contract. So I've got 2 contracts, so it's just under $8. So if I make $200, it's usually about 192 and a couple of pence, couple of cents, something like that. So it's not a lot really. It's nothing to worry about. It's quite a bit more actually on the micros, pound for pound rather, percentage wise. But I'm just happy I'm moving in the right direction. Slow is fine for me. I'm not in a rush. I'd rather do the job right. I just don't want to have to go back and do another 20 because it's an absolute ball ache. I don't know. People like Alpine are constantly taking payments and blowing them and redoing more and blowing them and redoing more. I don't want the hassle. I'd rather just keep the accounts, grow them organically, and then try to get a nice, sensible monthly payment. I mean, if I can get $500 from each per month, which isn't difficult at all, still 10,000, still over 100 grand a year. And that's the starting point. As the accounts grow, I can increase 1,000 per month and then so on and so forth. So that lower high, did it make 2 points? Let me see if you'd have got in there. Not quite. you'd have got a point and a quarter, maybe a bit less. So I was right to let that go. Yeah, you'd have got a point because you'd have had to push through. So it's because we've had this push up and some sideways, we could get a kind of like a matching push up. It's just a bit hard to say. The volume is very low, isn't it? It must be something to do with Powell. Obviously, we got summer hours as well. Obviously, lots of people are taking holidays, which obviously slow things down. But Powell is speaking. Having said that, the market is moving quite freely. There's not a lot of chop. There's not a lot of congestion. It's still, we had that channel down, then a spike, and then we had an overshoot and a couple of legs up with a break, strong push up. So it is moving quite smoothly, and it's quite easy to read. There's just not a lot of volume and not a huge amounts of setup. You may have took that failure there. But at the moment, sometimes after an overshoot, you get a correction. You can get a correction. It can carry on down and make another attempt. So I just wasn't a fan of that. Powell is speaking, so I can't see anything that looks, like an unpredictable move. Overshoots, as we know, happen all the time. There's nothing that looks, unnatural here, is there? Sharp moves in directions. So there may be a failure there. The trouble is, there's always a possibility of a bigger channel. So whether it's just me being paranoid or what, but we could have a leg and a leg. There is a failure there. But I'm just not a massive fan of it. I mean, that's quite a strong move there. And we came back in, but we had a little double bottom there. We didn't quite get here. So it may work and it may not. But for me, I'm just not a massive fan. Because as I say, there is always a possibility of another channel. And it kind of fits really, doesn't it? So a leg and a break, that could trigger you and push up. In fact, that's not what you want to see, is it? It's a little bit in the middle of nowhere, that is, to be fair. Granted, it is a failure, but it's not a failure that looks particularly good to me. So I wouldn't be shocked if that gets stopped out. Yeah, in fact, I don't even know why they charge you commissions on a simulated account. What are commissions? They're charged by your broker, aren't they? Okay, well, we don't have a broker. It's a sim account. We should pay for it, really, should we? No. So I'll be amazed if that doesn't get stopped out. It is a failure. So after this breakout, you can guarantee there's going to be some shorts in there. Not any longer. Let's see if it gets up to there. See, there is a possibility of a bigger channel. Whether there is or not, who knows? But you have to keep that in mind, I think. And then it does keep you out of trades like that. So a leg, I'd like to see a leg and a leg. And preferably to close above here before I'd even think about going up. Trouble is, once we're above here, we're into new territory, so we can't look back and think, okay, well, there's this there, that's why it might not go higher. We're kind of in a new ground. Volume's very low. And that one for me is a bit too far from that EMA. So it sits there nice, and it sits there nice. Excuse me a sec. Okay. So did that get taken out? No, it didn't. And now we're getting a bearish bar in now. So we got a leg back and a leg back. So one leg back. I'd like a second leg back, and if we can, and sit on top of there may be a long option there. I'll see. So push up. One attempt to go lower. Second attempt to go lower, and then up. Come on, Powell, hurry up. Oh, excuse me, I need myself. Hold on a second. Sorry about the barking. Made me jump out my seat. So there's two options here. We could get two legs down to go long, or we could get a triple test to go short. Or long. 1, 2. Maybe we get a triple test there. Maybe it's a failed breakout and we get a triple test there. Who knows? Who knows? But there's always this possible channel out here, so Okay. Let's see where this finishes for a possible second entry long. Okay, 2 legs back. Let's see what happens here. That bar, if it ends up bullish, is no good for me because it's just too far from that EMA. We've got to come a bit lower, in my opinion. I can adjust that fractione. Let's keep that tight to there. And that to the bottom there. That's as much as I dare go. So if we can close about here and get a quick drop below there, yeah, that's no good for me, that. It's not bullish enough anyway, so we've got to come a bit lower, in my opinion. And not break above there, ideally, because if we break above there, that changes things. Oh, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Tell a lie. We can reset the count there. So if that breaks above there and we come down, we can still get a second entry long. So we've got a visual 2 legs down, or 2 legs and an actual second entry long. So if we can trigger above there, come down a little bit, and then sit bullish on top of there, having pushed through that EMA, that may be an option. So maybe we get a trade yet. That ATR is low, so I will probably be inclined to take 6 ticks on this one personally. See how much room we've got to the top. But there is going to be some liquidity there and there, so I think it likely, if it does push up, it's probably going to clear that anyway. So as long as we've got plenty to 2 points, then if we do get a setup, we shall see. But the fact that never broke above there, that liquidity there, I'm not really too fussed about, because that bar there is really in the middle of nowhere, really. It's floating in the middle of that, so I'm not too bothered that there wasn't enough buying power to take out those bits of liquidity. I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere there, really. You've got to come and get a run up, which is 2 legs back. And if we get something bullish there, that is a better move to take out those. So push up, nice correction. We could get a bit higher. Trouble is, we're very overbought on the daily. This thing just could completely turn. So I would, if that finishes bullish, I won't take that, but I'm hoping if it does, it breaks higher than there, because that may encourage some longs, which I'm hoping is going to trigger and come down for us, take the stop out for a second entry long. Now I want it to come down now. Take out that short, or take out that long, and then give us a second entry long. Come down. Come on. Come on. Yeah, that is just too far from the CMA, really. Now, if we trigger that, come down, hit that EMA, hit the EMA, we'd have two nice legs down and a second entry long, but it's got to come down. I'll be surprised if it doesn't. It's not a strong position for me personally, but okay, so that's what I wanted to see. That to me is a weak position and highly likely going to get stopped out, I would suggest. I like the fact that we got a new count here, so there's a first entry. We can come down, take out any stops, trigger the bearish bar with a nice bullish bar, then I'll go long there. So there's always a possibility it could be a failed breakout and this could come in. But the way that's running up that line tells me that it more than likely isn't. But there will be some liquidity there. You can bet on it, and it may push up, it may work. Now, I want to see a quick flush down now. Take out anything there, and possibly that one. Come on. Quick push down. And again, come on, down you come. Come on, and some more. Come on. Hey Bob, how you doing, mate? How you doing? Here we go. I like it when it flutters. That quick flickering often results, or often ends in a quick flush down. Come on. Get below here and possibly even there. Come on. Come on. Get down. Get down. Get down. Yeah, when it's really slowly grinding up, that's when it's scary. We've got to get a flush down here. Come on, Powell. I don't know about you guys, but it's put me to sleep. This is down, up, down, up, down. Come on, just drop your bloody thing. No drop. You've got to flush down, surely. Mind you, those 3 bars are riding that line, aren't they? It's just too risky these to go long, I think. It's got to come down, surely. Still stuck in the same bar, aren't we? It does concern me when it's really this slow. Slower it goes up, the quicker it comes down. I'm still expecting a quick drop just to take these out, but it may just go up. But when I've been in trades here before thinking a new high, often it'll just come down. But there we go. Once we get above here anyway, there'll be some liquidity there. So if we can get above there, but we could get a triple test. I don't know. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. No, it's pushed up now. So there may be a bigger channel there. Kind of fits at the top as well. 1, 2, 3. Certainly possible. Possible. Doesn't help us though. 1, 2, 3. 3 attempts to go higher. Bearish bar there. Not in the market for a triple test at the moment. That's cleared all that out. So am I thinking it's going to come down? We've had 2 attempts to come down and it's still pushed up higher. So I think personally it's likely to go higher. It's just damn slow. How long have we been going for? Let me have a look. 2 hours and 35 minutes. Another crappy day again, eh? Was there anything I wished I would have taken? No, I'm still not a fan of that. It's just too far from the top for me. and there's not much room to the lows. It did work. Marco took it, but that for me needed to be up here really, and the wick needed to be sort of comfortably above this. It's just we're kind of 2/3 of the way down already. Now I think he takes 6 ticks, which I think he just got his ticks. He actually got in there on a limit order because there's you got to get down to there to push out. So I think he got in on a limit order, but it came up. You'd have still been safe there, and it would eventually work. But you want to get out in that first move really. You don't want to wait for it to come back, because if it doesn't starts to make a downtrend, it could come back up there. But there's nothing else that really comes to mind. You may have taken that one, but it's close to that EMA. There's not much room, so there's nothing really too far from the EMA. So there's not a lot of setups, but it's a boring old day, isn't it, when it's slow? Well, it's Thursday tomorrow, isn't it? So what have we got? CPI, PPI, something tomorrow. I don't mind that because it's done and dusted, isn't it? Whereas Powell's now, there's no what I would call unpredictable news. It's pretty readable, but it's slow. So whether it's got anything to do, whether him's got anything to do with just how little volume there is, maybe partly, but Miss Peterson, she's pretty. Maybe partly because of Powell, or partly because maybe summer hours, summertime, more people on their holidays. Who knows? I know I'm bored, put it that way. It's just boring when it's like this, so slow. It's almost like trading overnight, isn't it? I mean, we're on that bar for about 2 minutes. And it's just getting any quicker, is it? The match today. You're about the football match or the cricket match? I know England are playing the West Indies at the moment. Pretty sure there is. Is it the England match tonight? I thought it was Thursday now. Yeah, I probably will. I don't follow football as much as I used to. I'm more of a cricket man. It's a much more intelligent game. The Euros, yeah, I will do, yeah. It's the semi-finals, isn't it? We don't often get there. What time is it? Isn't it 5 something, is it? But I know England are playing cricket at Lord's in London today, and they're doing quite well, I think. It's England and Netherlands, isn't it? What time is it? Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Yeah, I will be watching it. Yeah, I used to follow football a lot, but, I saw that much trouble and that much fighting and that. It's filled with, I'm not saying, obviously, it's not everybody, but just some of the trouble, there's language, we all go out for a beer with mates and you swear and stuff, but, nasty, psychotic threats to some of them and stuff like that. When you hear some of it, it's shocking. I've heard all sorts of things, and I don't know. There's just so much police involved in it all the time, and it put me off. I saw a girl and a little lad walking near where I live once, and football supporters were coming past, and I just saw that look of fear on the lad's eyes, and something just stuck in me, and it put me off. But for some reason, it just attracts, a load of idiots. Whereas cricket, it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't. I think the last game I went to was at Edgbaston in sort of the West Midlands. Was it last year? About 27,000 people there, not one police. Loads of stewards, no police at all. You can sit there and have a nice cool, few beers all day, put your feet up in the sun. I love it. It's a nicer game, I think, personally. But yes, football sometimes just tracks too many idiots for me. But I like to watch England, of course, yeah. Absolutely. They're doing really well, actually. We don't usually. I think we won on penalties. I think we were down. I think we were down a goal. Switzerland, I think it was. And they won on penalties. They don't have a great record on penalties, England, but they scored all 5. So well done to them. They're playing the Netherlands, aren't they, tonight? I might go down the pub and watch it. Wow. So I've just looked at the cricket game. West Indies 121 all out in a test match. England 88 for 1. We're going to absolutely thrash them with 9 wickets to spare. That's unbelievable, that is. 121 all out in a test match. I'm probably boring a lot of you US guys. I know you. Having said that, the US, we had the Cricket World Cup, and the US actually did pretty well. In fact, I think a game of it was in New York somewhere, and I think the rest was in various places around the West Indies, around the Caribbean area. Yeah, England are absolutely thrashing the West Indies. God, this is boring. I don't know about anybody else. I think I'm done for the day. How long we got? 2 hours and 40 minutes. I've not taken a trade all day. It's very slow. I'm done. Right, if you're carrying on trading, best of luck. I think Powell's still speaking, but it's a slow day. We didn't have much more volume yesterday, really, but at least there was a couple of setups. That's the one I wished I'd have taken. Mac marked it. I liked it, but by the time I sort of engaged my brain to take it, it moved up quite quick. Nice news ticker. That's new. What are you on about, bud? This thing here. Oh, that. 600k. Oh, some 600. No, it's the 600k. Is that how much you paid this month? I wouldn't be surprised, mate. But yeah, I wish I'd have taken that one. That was a nice trade, that one. I think Mac marked that one as well. A leg and a leg. The way it triggered that. I think some took that one. I didn't. I left it. But the one I think was worth taking, it was probably one of the smallest bars of the day, and worked a treat right back to the top. Marquee on the bottom. Oh, down here. About the second chart, you mean? I think that's what you mean, isn't it? Yeah, I'm getting bored now. It's so slow, isn't it? We're working into all-time highs here, so you don't know whether we're going to have a leg and a leg, or whether we've got a leg here and a leg there, but I don't know. Powell's still talking, market's quiet, so I am done for the day. It says I am trade. Yeah, that's it, the red one. Yeah, all it is you're a pro streamer now. Am I really? No, I just, what happened is, I was trading the CL on here, but the trouble is, when you're looking at a trade, I've got all this in what it's done previously, where it's likely to go in my head when I'm making decisions. And sometimes, I've spoken to Mark about this, and he said he tends to trade for 3 hours, and he's like brain dead because of the concentration and the focus. But then what I did is I saw a setup on the CL, and I hadn't really paid much attention to what it had done because a lot of my focus on this, and I took a long and it stopped me out. And when I kind of zoomed out and had to think about it, it didn't make sense. So what I like about this is when you deselect, if anybody doesn't know, when you deselect that break at end of day, it changes the bars ever so slightly. So in a lot of cases, when we get a setup, we don't get a good signal bar. Having a second chart doubles the chance of you getting a better signal bar, because, when we get 2 legs back here, a lot of traders will buy here, but we actually wait for a bar to form indicating we're going to continue up. A lot of people will just play the numbers, just 2 legs back, we'll just buy here. And a lot of cases, when we've had 2 legs, it does work. But because we wait for a strong bullish bar in a certain place, so many times it just goes off without you. So having this second chart does double the chance of getting a setup. And you only really need to focus on one chart because you know exactly what the chart above is doing. The only difference going to be is maybe slight variation in the signal bar. So you missed the trend phase. Yeah, so it's a much better thing for me, really, just to focus on one and then just have a quick glance over, just to check the signal bar. But yeah, it's a sort of funny old day, really. Sideways yesterday. It looks like we're having a leg. A few pushes up today, leg, and a leg. There's probably something larger there. Who knows? Maybe kind of fits, but we're right at the tops. So if you were trading that on a bigger channel, you don't really want to be going long up here, do you? You want to wait for that sort of pullback. But I'm going to leave you there, folks. So it's pushing quite strong, actually. You can only 2 setups. Yeah, I got nothing today, so that's fine. It is what it is. So we may get that second leg, but it's kind of pushing strong now. Yeah, you too, Osam. But there you go. If you're trading, best of luck. I hope you finally get something. But it's definitely a lower volume today. It's hard to trade this stuff because it's floating, isn't it? We're getting no sort of significant pullbacks. But there you go. So I'm going to love you and leave you. It's Thursday tomorrow. I'll be back same time tomorrow, hopefully. We've got CPI, PPI, one of them tomorrow. So hopefully that's the kind of news I like. It's there and it's not. Whereas Powell's sitting chatting. So whether that has anything to do with a low volume or maybe it's just, holiday time and there are traders away, so less volume coming in. But there you go. So have a great day. Have a nice evening tonight. Stay safe, and I'll be back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning for you guys, afternoon for me in the UK. So have a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.